Tom Brady.
Fuck Tom Brady. Yo, what's up, guys? Big Pat here, cousin JoJo. We're sitting here on our second live ever. We hope you guys come in and join us. But tonight we got a few things on our mind. But first, I think we should get safe. Joe, cheers, sir.
Cheers, my man.
Cheers to any of you watching at home. We appreciate you for tuning in. Safety Meeting Live.
So, Pat.
So, Joe.
Where do you think Atlantis is at?
Do
you think it ever actually existed? Do you think it ever actually went anywhere? Do you think Plato was just playing the fucking world?
Well, it seems as if, okay, Plato brought it to the attention of people. What was the time frame between the areas of 424 to 328 BC? He describes it as a home harboring a group of people, an advanced kingdom. Let's see. Okay, but you asked me where I think it was. No, if you go off of any sort of history book, or even if you go off of the novel that was reconfigured and rewritten in the 1600s from Aristotle during the Christian era, they say that it was attacked, it was sunk, there was earthquakes, there was floods, and it loomed deep into some murky, dark water. Now, some people say that it could be the Bermuda Triangle that swallowed it up. Some people say it could be Antarctica. Antarctica is like the ice cap over Atlantis. Hell, even some people would speculate that the city of Atlantis is outside of the ice wall. But early pictures depicted it as the center of our Earth, almost like it was the Jerusalem, according to old things, because they had it locked in the center of the Earth.
Right.
But if you take all these things, these are all just hypotheticals. These are some people's idea. And because we've talked about it before here on Safety Meeting, philosophers were people who were just really smart for their time. So therefore, their suggestions seemed like it could be from a higher power, because no one else during that time period has this kind of knowledge or has these ability to foreshadow or have hindsight. I think we, America, the entire world, our current popular world, I think we are Atlantis, bro.
Like we as in
Earth. Now, the reason why I say this is if you look up anywhere, you see what they call the flat Earth model, okay? And the flat Earth model shows, the sun, moon, and stars inside the firmament, and the sun and the moon, it swirls around. We talked about this before, similar to the yin-yang effect. But it specifically says in the book of Genesis, and God created a firmament, and he separated the waters from the waters. Now, that can be loosely translated in many different ways. It could mean that, like we talked before on the flat Earth discussion, we talked about how it could be that space itself outside of the firmament is water. So that's why the firmament can't be penetrated, or they call it the Van Allen belt. What if those waters outside of the waters were simply because it was in the ocean? And since we were considered the blue planet, right? We're 80% water. They consider Poseidon the god of the water. What if Atlantis was Poseidon's kingdom, and that kingdom never fell physically, or literally, it fell physically. So it did get submerged in the water. It did fall underneath the surface. It could have went down hundreds of miles straight down. But we as people would never know that. How would we know? Especially if we've never been outside the firmament. So what if we're Atlantis? What if after all these thousands and thousands of years, all these different explorers and philosophers and endeavorers, they all were in search for this great promised land that they could never find because we were on it. It's like if you put a rat in a maze and you give him a piece of cheese that's this big, right? That rat could be sitting there crawling around on top of the cheese in the center of the maze, smelling it, but he can't find it because it's so big that he thinks it's just another structure or a plane of existence.
Facts.
What if that's us? What if the earth is the cheese when we're the rats and we're crawling around all over the place looking for the cheese and we can't fucking find it? So we have to chalk it up to it's something mythological. We got to chalk it up to it's something that was, potentially fiction, or something that was part of an old civilization or philosophy. I don't know. That's kind of my thoughts about it. What do you think? Where do you think Atlantis is, Joe?
I personally believe that Atlantis is Antarctica. You look at some of the things that they found on Antarctica. There's plenty of underground rivers and lakes and places where civilizations once were. History and science even tells you that Antarctica used to have like the atmosphere of, the southern states of America. It used to be warmer,
Greenland,
and animals. They have one of the world's largest deposit of oil, and we already know oil comes from biofuel, which is bones that have decayed from thousands and thousands of years and compressed down into the earth and mixed with all the minerals and shit to create fossil fuel. So that means that there was once living things there that died, seeping into the ground, making fossil fuel. They found pyramids. They found what they believe to be like underground cities and structures. Like, I believe something happened. Maybe a comet came crashing down, hit into the ocean, causing a massive tsunami and, ice age type ordeal, instantly freezing the water covering the landmass and the fresh green oceans are fresh green area that was there, turning it into the desolate area that we know today.
What if Atlantis was sunken during the days of Noah? What if
Got a person so there's an entire section of the ocean we can't go to. The
Correct.
whole premise of the movie Meg is based on that. Meg, the movie with the big ass shark.
Yeah, short for Megalodon.
Yeah. So what are they hiding? Why do they make it so that you're only allowed to go so close to Antarctica?
Why is it that 32 countries back in 1958 took an oath of secrecy to protect the border wall of Antarctica from front to back, and that every single country of all those 32 basically kind of like this did an NDA or a non-disclosure agreement that said, look, we may not be allies, but in order to protect this thing that we found, this amazing thing, we have to be on a united front, because we can't just let any Joe Schmo walk through here or take their boat through here or fly their plane over here. And shortly after that, fun fact, was the formation of NATO.
Right.
And shortly after that was the formation of NASA. Now, I'm not saying that one thing leads to the other, but I'm saying it's pretty cut and dry that one thing leads to the other.
Is it though?
What is NATO? What is NATO? NATO is a worldwide alliance that has them the governing power that in any area of war on the world that they can step their soldiers step on land in any war zone and be the middleman or the peacekeeper or the reinforcements or so on and so forth. I mean, that sounds an awful lot like the Antarctic Treaty.
So
What it,
why do you think they don't want people to go to Antarctica?
I think it's because if people were to go to explore Antarctica, they would understand that on the other side of the ice wall is a whole nother part of our world.
Theoretically, couldn't you do the same thing if you were to go to the Arctic? Excuse me. Can't stay because I'm going to bed, but have a good night. Thank you, Midwest Survivor, for you too.
Appreciate you, bro.
Watched this
Girl.
last time we went live. Last time we went live.
Oh, hell yeah. But what is it about Antarctica? Now, I'm going to read some cliff notes, okay? I was looking on Wikipedia, and this is what, and I made a few cliff notes. This is what Wikipedia says about Atlantis. So Wikipedia says Atlantis is a fictional island mentioned in an allegory on the hubris of nations in Plato's works of Timaeus and Critias. Within its confines, an antagonist naval power that besieges pseudoscience or pseudo-historic embodiment of Pluto's ideal state in the Republic. And he refers to Atlantis as the Republic. Now, what do we call the United States of America right now, what we're supposed to be?
Republic.
Okay. So the story concludes with Atlantis falling out of favor with the deities and submerging into the Atlantic Ocean. Plato, in 424 to 328 BC, describes it as a powerful and advanced kingdom that sank in a day and a night somewhere around 9600 BC. He describes it as an island larger than Libya and Asia Minor combined. It was protected by the god Poseidon, or in earlier translation, Neptune, who made his son Atlantis king, and the namesake of the island and the ocean that surrounds it. As the Atlantean army grew stronger, it conquered Africa as far as Egypt and Europe as far as Tyrrhenia, or they call it Italy, before being driven back by the Athenian-led alliance. Later, by divine punishment, the island was beset by earthquakes and floods and sank into the muddy sea. Nobody heard about it for 200 years. Then in the 1600s, during the Christian era, Aristotle started to speak about his findings of Plato, and he called it New Atlantis. Now, when Aristotle was explaining its location, he says it sits on the outside of the Pillars of Hercules, which mark the entrance to the Straits of Gibraltar. Now, if I'm not mistaken, wasn't Gibraltar a country or a landmass that was surrounding Bethlehem?
You got me on that one. I've honestly never heard that word. And if I have, I've been mispronouncing it wrong my whole life.
It's okay. Some of these words were kind of tricky.
Corporation. I mean, yeah, there's a good reason.
So it disappears and then it reappears, and somebody has an idea, and then it disappears for a couple hundred years and then it reappears. And just a few years back, I think in 2010, they made a DC animated movie where it was called Aquaman: The Rise of Atlantis, where they spoke about this underground civilization that obviously Aquaman's a part of, because he's supposed to be the son of Neptune, because in science fiction they got to switch the names. They can't call it Poseidon, because then it wouldn't fall into how the story goes. He wouldn't be Atlas, he would be Arthur instead, and so on and so forth. And it's just basically about a man who shares a bloodline between land dwellers and sea dwellers. He's the perfect combination, and he was brought into creation to bind the two worlds together, both the land world and the sea world.
Like Ariel from Little Mermaid.
Kinda, yeah. Something similar wrong there. I think like it could obviously be, because I've seen these different maps, flat Earth maps, and I've seen maps that show, land masses outside of the ice wall, from Tartaria to Atlantis to like a whole new like countries bigger than the Soviet Union. Like they're massive. What if that
All of
thing
our
outside
movies are
the
all of our
huh?
movies are based off of real life events. Every Disney movie. Facts. They are too. I'm sorry. I'm just reading comments as you're going along. I didn't mean to cut you off, bro.
No, you're good. What's his example? Can he give us one or she?
Right? Do you have any examples? That'd be a really good question. I mean, I can give you a couple. I mean, shit.
What would be
Bugs
what would be the
Life.
purpose of what would be the purpose of fucking hiding all that? Oh yeah, Bug's Life. That's a great story.
Bugs Life is definitely telling you how the government completely uses their power and to control everyone.
Hmm.
Like if you don't see the upper elite as the grasshoppers, then you're fucking crazy. But the movie they said was Soul, and that is a very good movie to pick.
Soul's a great movie. It really shows you a lot of stuff. It really does. I could think of
What
a
is that?
I
What is that one? What is that one where the oh shit? It's like from a while ago, bro. When the kids were little, like 6 years ago. I can't remember it, but it was legit. Like it was like little people that lived in this guy's brain, and they all affected different emotions and different like things like that. Like I legit for a week, for like almost a week to like 3 weeks, having JJ walk around the house telling me everything he did was because the little man in his head.
Osmosis Jones.
Nah, it wasn't Osmosis Jones.
Hmm.
It was a newer movie.
Hmm.
Isn't Guardians of the Galaxy a Disney movie?
Well, it's Marvel, so yeah,
Right?
Marvel tells you a lot of stuff.
Inside Out.
Mar
Upload. Giving a lot of
Inside
answers, people. I like this.
Inside Out. I haven't seen that movie, but I know what it's about.
Yes,
What?
and I believe that's the movie I was actually thinking about. That's the movie I was referencing. Inside Out. I might be wrong though, because I am a stoner. I like to stay safe.
True.
Upload is a show. I've never seen Upload. I don't even think I've ever heard of it.
What's a good? Um. Uh. uh what about How to Train Your Dragon? I know that's kind of a weird thing, but How to Train Your Dragon falls around the time period of the Norse gods, Norse mythology, and they train dragons at the highest mountains and the tallest peaks of the world. And the reason why they lived there was because of the resources that the island provided were the perfect sources to keep the dragons alive for generations.
Shit, since we're going to go down this road, can we talk about how the fact that they tried to take all of the old Greek gods and legitimately turn them into the Disney characters with Hercules? Like they've tried so hard to tell people that this shit isn't real, and we all know that it fucking is. That they've literally turned it into a cartoon for somebody to be pointing laughed at. They're literally, like you said, they're changing the names of them. Instead of calling them Poseidon, they got to call them Neptune.
Right.
Upload is a show about your consciousness into the cloud when you die. It's like the meta, whatever Mark is trying to do, almost like that in one episode of Black Mirror.
Bro, this is a little off subject, but to be honest with you guys, you could do what you want, but if I was you, I wouldn't even be trying to mess around with that meta universe. I wouldn't be trying to
Fuck
mess
no.
around. I wouldn't be trying to mess around with that Oculus. I'm not even trying to. I deleted Facebook a couple months ago, and you know it was a great decision. It was a great decision. I'm not saying that's what you have to do, but I found that my life is a little bit easier without that distraction. but get out of the metaverse. Why would you want a simulated reality? You have a reality right in front of you. That's almost a simulation.
So I just want to go ahead and say, I don't know who the one person is that's watching this on Twitch, but you can go ahead and say something, man. Everyone else is saying something. All people on YouTube or Facebook are all saying something. It's okay. This is a safe place.
Brad.
This is a safe place. If this is Brad, just give us a shout out, bro.
If it is, what up, cuz? If it's not, what up, whoever you are? Appreciate you tuning in.
Fuck no, fuck a smart TV. Smart TVs watch you. Anything like just like this webcam. If I don't unplug this webcam when I'm done, it watches me. Your cell phone, anything with a camera or a microphone, that shit watches you, listens to you, all of that shit. I'll never get an Alexa. I'll never get a fucking one of those Oculus things. Fuck that shit. Nope. Fuck no.
No.
Like, bro, there was an episode of Black Mirror to where you could get a chip, right? Downloaded into your brain. Okay? And what it does is basically, instead of your cell phone being in your hand, it's now in your eyes. You can call people, take pictures, record videos, go scroll on Facebook and Snapchat. You can instantly rate somebody to a point to where your social, just like that social credit score that they got over in China right now, right? That's basically what it is. Like, you can go around and rate people, and if your social credit score isn't high enough, you can't buy things at certain vendors. This is where this world is going, bro. That's why
no doubt.
That's why they've made social media so popularized, and we all have to be on something, right? If you're not on Facebook, you're on Instagram. If you're not on Instagram, you're on Snapchat. If you're not on Snapchat, you're on TikTok, or you're on Twitter, or you're still one of those rare people that use MySpace or something. There's some kind of social media that you use.
Facts. I'll just give a shout out. It is my cousin Brad. Thanks for joining us, Brad.
Oh, it is? Gang. That's what's up, Brad. That's awesome.
I feel like we just kind of drifted there a little bit, but it's okay. That happens in a safety meeting.
Adam Project is another real life event. Never heard of that
about this, guys.
Free Guy.
The Adam Project?
Yeah.
Yeah. Ryan Reynolds is the new Will Smith. They're going to use him as a way to get people's attention. So
I've never seen it. I'm going to have to look into it after this because I've never heard of it. What is it about?
I have no idea. I know they're Netflix movies, and I haven't had Netflix for years now.
Oh, I got the Netflix.
But Free Guy is basically about a guy living in a simulation as like a video game character where he doesn't know, and the people that are around him don't know that he's not a character. So he's called an NPC, or a non-playable character.
So after we got on the whole tangent about Disney movies and everything, the other day, me and JJ were talking, and we were actually talking about Atlantis. And he's like, that's one of the weird things that they were talking about in school. And he's like, and he was bringing up a weird theory of his own to where he's like, well, have you ever seen the movie Center to the Earth, Journey to the Center of the Earth? And he's like, what if that's it? What if the reason why we can't find a city is because it's literally beneath us? And what if that is the case, right? What if that is what the movie is really showing you and really telling you, that Atlantis is really underneath us? It is where everything came from, right? Because a lot of ancient cultures actually believe that man originated from the earth. Like, there's a lot of ancient cultures that believe that we crawled out of a hole, right? So before we had Christianity and Catholicism and Judaism, where they believed and the Adam of the Eve story, a lot of these cultures actually believe that we come from the earth, which, if you break it down scientifically, makes 100% sense. Because what is the highest found element in the human body?
Iron.
It is carbon.
Carbon. If
So,
carbon's even an element.
so what is the highest found element on Earth and in the universe? Carbon.
Oxygen.
Carbon. Carbon is the basis of any life force. You need oxygen to breathe and all that shit, right? Yeah, give you that. But if you don't have carbon, you don't have what you need to survive. Even Dr. Sebi was teaching people this. You know what I mean? Like he was teaching people that you need all of these fucking minerals.
True. Dr. Sebi is a fucking genius. If you guys have never heard of him, just research his name on whatever you can research it on. Go back. Just read. Read whatever you can read, because I promise you, you won't be disappointed. This
So
is
our
called...
viewer has let us know what the Atom Project is. It is when Ryan Reynolds goes back in time to adjust his time, like him time traveling backwards. That's the real life Free Guy. You come from the universe.
Okay.
I don't know. It doesn't tell me if they're all from the same person. It just says Facebook user.
Right.
See,
Sometimes I wish I was into pop culture so I could watch some of the shit that's relevant that people are talking about. But I don't keep up with pop culture. I don't get caught up in that illusion. But I feel like I've missed so much when the universe starts telling you about it. It's like you don't want to listen because you chose not to take that route, but the things that people are saying are kind of relevant, you know?
So people, before I spark it, let's just appreciate how beautiful that looks right there. It's nice and straight. All right. That's how your blunt's supposed to look. If it looks all pregnant and all weird and wonky, you fucked up.
Look at the hole. Look at
That's
it.
what she said.
Look at it. Ooh.
So,
There was a movie back in the 90s. It was another Disney movie. I want to say it was Atlantis.
it was a cartoon, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, it had a guy with little glasses and
Uh-huh.
yep. Yeah, it was called Atlantis. I never watched it, but I've seen the commercial for it enough that it sticks out in my mind.
Right. I feel like I should watch that. I don't know. I just, there's just like there's so much that people are just beginning to understand for the first times in their lives, and there's so much out there to really make you think, whether it be in a positive or negative manner, because it's like it kind of feel like the overall consensus is the reason why there's the lack of education, there's the reason why there's a lack of survival, a lack of knowledge, is because we're only here for energy. It's like our energy gets constantly recycled in and out of the universe, right? We've talked about that.
Right.
So what if like the current people who have been dictating how we live for however long periods of time, what okay, like let's the Bible references so many different things when it comes to people and humanity and the spirit, and how, in order to ascend, you almost have to find like a Christ-like consciousness. And when they say that, it's not so much like you are Christ. You're not resurrected. You're not a god, a deity, a prophet. You're none of that. But like, what if we're all these just amazingly awesome, super powerful, all intelligent people, and they put us all in a dome because they didn't want us to go outside of the ice wall. They sunk it but it was secretly Atlantis. So when you try to include hollow earth theory and how everything comes from the center, what if it truly is that's where Atlantis is? It's the center. It's the hollow earth. It's the this, it's the that. And we look at it from an outside perspective, when in reality, we should be thinking about it from an inside perspective. We're in the dome. We are Atlantis. We're under the ocean, which is why when you look at the stars, no matter how good your camera or telescope is, that star will zoom in. And as you look at it, it pulsates, it moves, it changes colors, it moves. And because it moves, it looks no different than if you were to take a light bulb and put it underneath or inside of a glass of water. The light's going to refract, and the image you're going to get is kind of distorted with a ripply wave. That's outside the firmament. That's outside of Atlantis. We are Atlantis. And when they talk about in the Bible how they reference how in Revelations that the New Jerusalem will descend from the sky and placed on top of the old, creating a new kingdom, the new kingdom of heaven. But since they have a way of fucking everything all up and twisting our words and rewriting the story, maybe it's backwards. Instead of Jerusalem falling from the heavens, it raises from the center. And boom, a new kingdom of heaven is established. I don't know, man. I'm just kind of going off of it. I've been really thinking hard about this for a long time.
So, Pat,
Yo,
if you find up for a second, I can give you, like, I'm not sure you want it though. So it's official. We finally have 101 subscribers on YouTube. As of this live, we gained a couple extra subscribers. To anybody out there that's actually watched from the beginning, it's been a struggle for me and Pat to get to triple digits. So we fuck with you.
Thank you guys.
Like, I don't know who was number 100 and number 101, but me and Pat owe you a special smoke session. So if you know us personally, get up with us on Facebook and we'll smoke you out.
Facts. We appreciate you guys. That's really cool. Sometimes you don't need a fancy face. You just need to be able to speak from the heart. And you find that more people resonate with conversations spoken from the heart than just parroting everything else you've learned in life. So we thank you. I'll hit one for you. I appreciate y'all.
So you think they sunk it? So if you think they sunk it, and JJ thinks that it's actually in the center of the earth, and you both think of the hollow earth theory as your point of reference as proof, maybe you guys are on something.
You ever heard of the concept of the black sun or the black sun zenith?
No. I mean, I've heard of like Princess Zenith's Warrior, shit like that.
Well, I'm not going to be 100% precise on my description, so I apologize ahead of time. But basically, inside the hollow earth, in the center, in the core, there's a black sun. And the black sun gives off black light. And the black light is what projects from the center of the earth and illuminates the inside of the firmament, just like a solarium.
Do you know Jason Martin?
No.
You sure, bro? Because he said Pat's not on Facebook anymore.
Oh, Jason. Yes, I do know Jason. Yeah,
I'm pretty sure we owe Jason a smoke out because I'm pretty sure he's either number 100 or 101.
Thanks, Jason. You're a badass motherfucker. And I stand by that. You're good. Jason's good people. You ever, you come across about 10 people in your lifetime that really make an impact on you moving forward. And for me, Jason Martin was one of those guys. So I'm glad you tuned into the live, sir. It's too bad we can't really interact, but soon.
He wants to know where you've been at, man.
Bro, fuck Facebook. I want to say that there. Fuck Facebook. Live your lives. Don't get
Fuck no,
clouded by the
Antarctica wasn't
distraction.
always frozen. Fuck no. We actually mentioned that earlier. Like a lot of the earlier depictions on maps of Antarctica had it being green, luscious lands with all these different types of animals. Like I've even heard a theory that that's where they think of kangaroos actually originated from. But they're not actually from Australia. That they were from parts of like India and Antarctica, and due to my whatever catastrophic event happened in migration. But how do they migrate across the water? Kangaroos know how to swim or build boats.
I don't know, man. I mean, they box. That says something.
It was just the one part of the theory that has always fucked with me.
Well, if in Antarctica it was part of Pangea before the Great Divide, what if during that time that's when Atlantis was sunk? When Pangea broke and continents were created.
So that's a very interesting point. They said that that's where they think that the aliens are, the frozen underneath the ground. So if there really is extraterrestrials from another planet, right? Their planet would be farther from the sun, thus meaning it'd be colder. They would need a colder atmosphere. So layering it with a brick of ice, miles of ice, would A, make it colder, and B, make it so that you don't have as many UV rays reaching you, because that's going to be a problem for you. And, they also have military documents where they have unidentified flying objects that go screaming through the sky and then crashing into the water and then reverse style. Both happen. So there's definitely something there. The Nazis knew it too. There's actually even till this day an underground base from the Nazis still in Antarctica.
There's thousands of them everywhere.
Fuck yeah, there's shit tons of active like rivers and lakes underneath the ice. So, like this person said, it wasn't water. But if it's not really ice, we just perceive it to be.
Did you hear anything or read anything or see anything about how there are some scientists in Antarctica who have been drilling for sky ice?
Yes, I've seen something about that. It's just like dark blue ice.
Looks like the sky.
Yeah, that when it melts, instead of turning into water, it completely evaporates and goes in the air.
It strips pure oxygen. You can't hold it with your hands because it's hundreds of degrees Fahrenheit past freezing. Sky ice. Go Google it or whatever you use. Use DuckDuckGo. Go on YouTube. Whatever you got to do, check it out. Sky ice or drilling for sky ice. Sky ice. I mean, hello, it's right there, bold letters. Sky ice. What do they call the firmament? Nobody knows, but it's this barrier that just so happens to make this color that looks like the sky. I think they went beyond us.
So, you said you've never seen the Hunger Games, right?
I watched the first one. That was it.
Okay. So I think it's the second to last one. The very last Hunger Games that they're in before they have their battle. One of the guys in the games helped build the arena and everything. And he let Katniss know that the sky was literally a hologram. And that so what she did to get them out of the game was she shot her arrow into the hologram, thus breaking it and revealing the fact that this is all bullshit. You get what I'm saying? It shorted out their system, the way that they were able to control like the fires and all the animals that were killing them and all that crazy shit, shut it all down.
Mm-hmm.
I've always felt like that movie was one of their little tips that we're going to throw out here. This is something that you're going to have to live through. Maybe not you personally, but some generation. This is one of our plans.
Kind of like the movie Men in Black is kind of a documentary.
Yeah.
Those organizations do exist. There's been, talk about them for decades and decades of these men in black suits who come in quickly, do whatever they got to do, and are gone without really any trace of them showing up, like ninjas.
The last one he didn't know until the end. He was the creator. So what an interesting way of looking at it.
Earlier you said brain chip. It made me think that's the shit that Elon's been building.
Yeah,
Go with this Neuralink system.
Yeah, bro, I ain't gonna lie. You kind of got me reverting on my stance on Elon a little bit. I think he's one of those people that started off with good intentions and is. I think he might be going to the dark side a little bit. Just a little bit.
Yep. Yeah. Yep.
Like, I don't know. At least we know who bought Tesla's plans. Right. At least we know who had the money to pay for all his shit. It was Elon.
Mm-hmm. And the weird thing is though is he's just made this empire, this machine that really can't be slowed down, that runs off of electric, but the electric is really just an abundance of positively charged lithium. And lithium just so happens to be one of those really important resources that they had both in Afghanistan and Kazakhstan. But we go all out and we get all this lithium to put them in these cars because we think we're saving the environment, but the cars still have to charge. And the lithium actually poisons you. It poisons your immediate reading, like your immediate person. It's in the air. So you think you're doing a good thing, but you're really just fucked yourself because somehow you're going to get cancer at least 15 years earlier than you would if you hadn't bought a Tesla. But you can't prove it because by then there's going to be on Tesla model number 74. And it's going to run off of mind control. All you got to do is close your eyes and drive where you got to be. Because Jason of the Neuralink system.
Jason would like to know our thoughts on the Matrix and the link there. I'm going to let you go ahead and start off with this one. Because I know you definitely have a feeling about the Matrix. Just change the ticker because we're definitely not talking about Atlantis anymore. We're talking fuck Tom Brady.
Yeah.
Fucking full. Thought we were ready and then he fucking comes back.
What was the question again?
Our thoughts on the Matrix. Like, how does the Matrix connect with the world today? What is the Matrix showing us that we should be looking out for? What is its hidden message? Because I believe there's tons of them.
Okay.
Because I don't believe that we live in a simulation per se, right? But I 100% believe that what we see, feel, and hear is not all that there is. All right. That there is something blocking us frequency-wise from being able to experience all of it. And
fluoride.
And that is within essence what is the movie is showing you. Either you take the pill or the fluoride or whatever you think it is that's blocking your pineal gland, your third eye. Sorry. And
did you say penis?
No, I went to go say pineal gland and I was hypogang and I still said it wrong. So your third eye. All right. So you just stop whatever's blocking it, and then you can finally open yourself, thus breaking the matrix?
I think the Matrix is a metaphor for controlled environment. Everything that we have, that we're around, that we experience, hear, breathe, touch, feel,
Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
smell.
5 dimensions of yourself.
Right. It's like in the movie they're showing this world that exists right in front of us, but we don't understand it because we're not paying attention, because we're not tuned in. We're part of the program. We're part of the background noise. And when
Of time.
people break out of the trance or unplug or whatever, and they become aware of their surroundings, it turns into a threat. Because now you know what's really happening. And it's kind of similar to what's happening in real life currently. A lot of people have unplugged, and a lot of people see it for what it is. And what they see, they don't like. But they know that in order for real change, it has to be something of biblical proportions. And that's where the universe unites. That's when we break out of the matrix.
So this is an interesting comment. The Matrix, with Neo coming out and going into the 3rd dimension, into the 5th dimension, is the reason why he can fly, right? Because he's finally reached at a pinnacle state, the highest dimension you can reach. Is that why Superman can fly? Is that why Superman has all of these powers?
He's an interdimensional being.
Exactly.
So what if extraterrestrials are nothing more than interdimensional rather than terrestrial?
I've always felt that extraterrestrials were nothing more than, not in all stances, but in most stances, human beings in a future generation that are at a higher consciousness, to where they have the ability to control time and go back and observe. They cannot necessarily change anything, because once you do that, you obviously change the paradox and create a different timeline, and thus leaving you in a paradox of not going back to your original timeline.
Right.
So, butterfly effect, essentially. Like,
I can see that. One ripple can create a tsunami. Even if you change the spelling of something, you can't alter time.
no, we can't.
Oh shit.
We can't. Not in our dimension. Not in our state. But I believe in your highest state, you can. Because theoretically, in your highest state, you in essence would be a god. Like, that's even what the egg theory is telling you. That the reason why we're all here is because we're all here at different states of the same being's progression, thus leading you into being a god. Right? Like, basically, we're just in a childhood. We're just all meeting each other at different stages of our childhood to help us progress to become the whole entity that we are meant to be. Like, your universe, and like we were talking the other night, like, our universe is literally constructed for you or for us, which leaves the paradox of which one of us is the real one, because we all can't be the real one. Right. There has to be one of us that is the real one,
the Neo.
Exactly. So my question is, Is it one of us, or is it someone that the world does not know?
Or what if it's a monster so big that it's actually all of us collectively?
There's that.
Because of how submerged into the matrix we are.
So is that what? So you think that's what Armageddon really is, right? Is the day that our entity that we all share, right, in the egg theory, has finally came to this point to where it's reached its fifth dimension and it's become its highest self and it's finally become a god and leave adolescence. So therefore, the universe where it was created for its childhood and its progression is no longer needed. So you all are absorbed into becoming the same force once again.
And it gets
Because
recycled. Yin and yang.
exactly, yeah, because you are your past experiences.
And possibly, yeah, I don't know. There's an infinite number of possibilities, but I tell you what, I feel like I'm starting to get close. But there's always that little bit that makes you a little unsure. Like, do you really want to know? Do you want to cross that
Yeah,
threshold? Do you want to know? It's going to come at a cost. Are you willing to compromise your values and integrity to pay that cost to know the information?
here's an interesting one. What if the Antichrist is the one? What
What
if
if
the
the Antichrist is AI?
no, that's not what they're asking. What if, in essence, the Antichrist was our Neo, was in essence our savior, the one that is the higher being and the fulfilled entity, right?
Hmm. That's why they reference to it as where we live in his world. We live in Lucifer's world. We live in his 2,000 years of darkness.
Exactly. But I mean, I've told you plenty of times over the last year or so that we live in hell, have I not?
Yeah.
I'm just going to take you back even farther. I've been telling you this since I fucking had my appendix took out. My whole perspective on things has changed since that moment. I don't remember what I was dreaming about while I was under, but obviously I seen something.
Mm. And you failed in a previous life. So your energy gets recycled and you have another opportunity. And if you fail, then in this life it ends. And in the next life, you start all over again. And with each life
Oh
you
yeah,
inherit and you grow, you slowly start to remember everything from all your past lives, which is why every individual knows something that another individual doesn't.
exactly. Oh, I 100% believe that there is a timeline out there that I died on that I died on that table.
We've
Or
all
died.
died.
Oh, plenty of times. Every time you've had a life or death situation, your consciousness automatically creates a different alternate reality to where you did not die, because that is the one thing that your consciousness cannot cope with, is not dying, right? So
Hmm.
if we are really this big, huge life force that can create anything we would want, that's exactly what it would do. Because we all may not want to admit it, but the one thing inside all of us that keeps on going is that we all have the will to live. None of us really want to die. We
We have
all,
free will.
exactly. If we could choose to live forever, most of us would. We sit here and
Sure.
say, no, no, because I'm going to lose the people I'm around right now. Da 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 da. Fuck that. You would choose it because you already know everything that I could accomplish if I had 10,000 years.
Right.
I wouldn't have to worry about the last 10 years. That wouldn't mean shit. I could dick around for 10 years. I got 10, 20, 30,000 years left. Fuck, man.
Right.
But I don't know where I was going with that. I kind of
I
got
mean,
stoned for a second.
I totally get what you're saying. A lot of people would choose eternal life because people are selfish. Where I see it as no matter what, life is eternal, even in death. Death isn't supposed to be this grim time of sadness and mourning. Death is supposed to be a celebration of life and rebirth,
So
and that's
where
that's how I've
where
always.
your comment kind of leads into this person's question. Where do you think the next life is? Do you think it's here? Do you think it's somewhere else? Do you think it's on an alternate plane of existence?
I think it's right here. You come right back to this.
So you believe it like the Hindus believe it?
Reincarnation. Well, no, reincarnation is changing physical form rather than staying as the spirit or essence.
Yeah, no, the spirit and the essence and the energy always stays the same in Hinduism. It's just what you do in this life dictates how your next life lives. Until you finally reach that stage of higher existence and no longer have to come back here because you can create your own universes.
It's like each individual hits a peak in their life where they have one of those life-changing events. And if you fail at that life-altering event, that's what you live in your next life. Now you're seeking the alternative to what you just failed at. You just don't know it yet, but your intuition leads you in that direction.
No, I'm with you. Our souls are at least 1 billion years old, but I'm not personally. I don't remember those billions of years. I don't have access to those memories on demand like I would if I had this body in this vessel for the last 1 billion years.
Bro, I'm convinced two things in my previous life. Two things. Thing one, I've come from a long line of gypsies, somehow, or drifters, or however you word it. And two, at one point in time, I was definitely an angry black woman. I was a mad, angry black woman. Because to this day, bro, when I get upset, okay, and I know you've probably never seen it 100%, but when I get upset, man, I could just flap off at the jaw in a high-pitched tone that sounds like a pissed-off black woman. Where's that come from? It's obviously deep within me and only comes out with anger. So that tells me that at some point in time, that was somebody in my past life. And I'm not trying to sound like a bigot or a racist. I'm just being dead ass. I feel it because I have so much soul. Like I connect to soul music, rhythm, the gospel. Like I connect with all of it.
Oh, man.
Yeah, I said it. But, I mean, we can laugh about it, but nobody really knows. You can only speculate.
Old black woman, eh?
An angry black woman.
Angry black woman. There you go, Pat.
I'm telling you.
We're going to have to agree to disagree that your past life's karmas does not carry over because I 100% still believe it.
I don't think past life karma carries over.
I was talking to the person in the comments, but me and you are going to have to agree to disagree on that one because I believe it does, bro. I believe that we're all here in this existence because we are not at that stage of that fifth dimension of where we are our full self to learn a lesson that we did not learn in the life previous. I'm not saying that like the fact that you stole that candy bar from that old woman that one time when you were a kid, that doesn't count. But that's not what I'm talking about. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is there is something in all of our life that keeps on coming up over and over and over and over again. And eventually you learn it or it just keeps on coming up, right? And if you never figure it out, it's going to be a big part of your life in the next one because it's the lesson you did not figure out. Like maybe it's something stupid, like, you know what I mean, you in the life previous were a fucking billionaire, but you were one of those people that were snotty and dicky and you didn't give a fuck about anybody and you would not feed a starving person to save anybody's life.
You're selfish.
Shit. Yeah, selfish. So in your next life, you're going to be dirt poor. You're not going to have anything. You know what I mean? Or, you know, you come back as like one of those helpless cripples that had people in a wheelchair that have no one, they can't really do much for themselves. then you have to depend on other people to survive. That's what I'm talking about. That's why I believe. That's why I believe some people don't even get a chance to live this life, and as soon as their energy enters this world, they're automatically rejected, and that's why you have babies that die at birth.
Who knows? I mean, it's an interesting way to look at it.
But see, I don't believe, like, this is to the person in the comments. I don't believe that you come back as a different entity. Like, you know what I'm saying? I don't believe you come back as a fucking chicken or you come back as a rock. I don't believe that. You come back as a person.
Not like Hinduism.
Yeah, not like Hinduism. I believe you come back like a person. I got a question. What if the end there were only heaven or hell? What choice would you make?
You already made your choice.
I mean, if it was up to me, obviously I'm going to choose paradise. Who wants to go through hell? You know what I'm saying? Like, I kind of feel like we've already have living through the life that we have so far.
Paradise is the opposite of where you are now. If you think about it, everything about it is complete opposite of everything you're experiencing. That's paradise.
So, I don't know, man. Like, I definitely would choose to live in the better place. I think I don't want to live in hell. I don't want to live, burning my soul away.
But I think at the beginning of life, you already know, kind of like how they portrayed it in the movie Soul. I think in life, when you're born, you already know if you're going to walk on the path of light or dark when coming through the birth canal in beginning life.
But paper doesn't have consciousness. We may be made of atoms, but we're not. Me and a piece of paper aren't the same.
Is somebody thinking of string theory? About how each reality, each existence just overlays on top of the other, blending an infinite number of realities into one?
No, they're trying to give me shit because I believe that your energy carries over. That your life lessons carry over. If there's something that you don't figure out in this life, that it's going to carry over to the next life. So now they're giving me shit saying that, well, you're going to come back as a piece of paper because, you guys are made of the same thing. You're both made of atoms.
I mean, it could be true. We don't really know how it works, man. To be honest with you, we can only speculate and go off of how we feel about it or how we perceive it and what it means to you individually. I mean, if you died as a tree in a past life, you could come back as a sheet of paper in your next life if you're going by physical matter and energy. But like, I would think that if you had the energy of an animal, you would come back as an animal. If you had the energy of a human, you'd come back as a human, and so on and so forth. Like, I think it would stay true to its like DNA pattern. I don't know. That's just a thought.
So, do you think that when people started eating animals and started eating meat, that's how they did it? They told them that these beings, since we can't communicate with them, they have no soul. So it doesn't matter if they die. That their only purpose is to feed you.
Except for pork. We're not supposed to eat pigs. But we do. But what can you do? Did the Decepticons happen? Oh.
No, I didn't hear you. I was reading something. I was trying to read a comment. So what'd you say?
Do we got likes? We got any likes? Is that how this works?
This screen only really tells me comments.
A lot of comments though.
Oh yeah, nice little bit of comments.
Sweet. We appreciate everybody for that. Appreciate the interaction. It's nice to be able to
I know you're
mingle
not
with.
supposed to eat bacon, but bacon tastes so good.
I know, and I think that's why they make it that way. Resist. Cut ties. Don't feed your inner parasite.
It's just so good.
I don't know, man.
I mean, only eat what grows in the ground. Oh, fuck that. I don't think I could be a vegan.
I mean, but what if it's the most healthiest course of action for a sustainable life?
I mean, I don't think I could do it, bro.
They say that allegedly, if you ate or drink, I forget how you exactly consume it, but it's like black sea moss. If you were to take some black sea moss, the one that's full of natural iodine, um, and iron and potassium, and you made it into a tea and you drink an 8-ounce glass every single day, that basically it could cure cancer, because Dr. Sebi said that everything that we eat that's manufactured or processed creates an abundance of phlegm or mucus, and mucus attaches to the arteries, whether it be your heart, your gallbladder, your liver, your lungs, your intestinal wall, right? And that abundance of mucus starts to build up and build up and build up, and it starts to fuck with your cell count. And it creates like a blockage where your white cells aren't working as strong as it is with the red cells. Do you kind of see where I'm going with this?
I know exactly where you're going with this, right? But here's my thing. I've been researching Dr. Sebi for like 10 years now, right? And then right around coronavirus time, everyone started to notice that they were starting to wipe a lot of things off the internet.
Mm-hmm.
And they left up a lot of things, especially about Dr. Sebi, that they only wanted you to hear. Because after he died, the CIA and the FBI, supposedly, according to his family, took over his business. So everything that they're telling you and all the things that is connected to Dr. Sebi post his death wouldn't be true. So, but there was the one story that sticks out to me where he talked about curing himself, right? Now, to cure himself, he went to this medicine man down in Mexico. And he's talking to him. The guy goes over him. Now, the guy's like a renowned doctor for getting rid of cancer and all this shit.
Mm.
And he comes back to him. He slams a Bible on the table and he looks at the man and just goes, "Because you've been living in sin your entire life." He goes, "What do you mean?" He goes, "You smoke, you eat meat, you eat pork, you do all this, you do that." And he looked at him and said, "Fast for 30 days. And he threw this big ass bag of leaves. That's how he describes it. Leaves and sticks on the table. Told me to grind this up and make a tea. And it's the only thing you drink. Drink it in the morning." Cured himself of everything. Now, when you hear everything they talk about Dr. Sebi, it's a lot of this golden sea moss, black sea moss. Like, yeah, he used sea moss. He talked about it. But it wasn't his cure-all, man.
Mm-mm.
He went around legit looking for green herbs, leafy substances, right? He wasn't searching in the ocean for his cure because he knew that that's not where the cure was at. But why are they pushing it?
That's a good question.
Like,
Why? Here's your answer. Okay, you asked it and you said why. So here's my idea of why. Because Big Pharma has an alternative for everything. Big Pharma gets everybody hooked on crude oil because oil is in every fucking piece of pharmaceutical medicine known to mankind. Why crude oil? Well, because first of all, if it can be addicting, but it breaks you down and gives you cancer, it gives you Alzheimer's, it gives you dementia, it creates renal failure, it create all these different things. So Big Pharma, that's why. The medicine they create replaced old medicine, replaced it with modern medicine, and modern medicine kills you just slowly enough to get you addicted to the next medicine and the next medicine and the next medicine. And when you die, they're going to say it was natural causes, but in reality, you've been dying for the past 25 years slowly, one pill at a time.
facts.
Because there's something to do with your straw man, and forgive me if I'm wrong, but once you hit 75 years old, you're kind of declared a sovereign citizen. You've fulfilled your debt and your contract. So
Yeah.
why would they target people and make it to where they only get to live to be about 70, 75 years old? Because no matter what, that money that they make and spend their whole lives and absorb comes back to them. It's all about, dude, they don't I've been telling you guys for a long time. They don't care about us. They want us to die. They want just enough of us to keep the machine running, and they want the rest of us to die. That's it. That's all it comes down to. It's up to you. Do you want to die? Or do you got a lot of light and a lot of fight left? It's just up
I
to
mean,
you.
I'm here, ain't I? If I wasn't here, I wouldn't be fighting. But I'm still gonna eat bacon. Not every day, but it's good on a cheeseburger with pancakes.
Yeah.
Bro, I don't know about anybody else, but I don't know about you guys, but I don't think breakfast food should be eaten at breakfast time. I think pancakes and sausage and scrambled eggs and grits and hash browns, toast, that is the perfect dinner. You can fight me on this. I do not care. Some fucking French toast, some bacon. Yeah.
I don't eat breakfast. I only eat breakfast on Sundays.
I only eat it for dinner.
Mm. But when I eat breakfast on Sundays, it's not until like almost about 11 in the morning. So it's basically lunchtime. Because I can't eat. I'm not one of those people. I can't wake up and eat. I can't eat anything. It fucks with me the whole day.
Yeah, yeah.
Sensitive stomach.
That is a fact. You're only supposed to drink water and eat. Well, I don't even eat fruit. I don't really eat like that. To be honest with you.
We're not supposed to drink cow's milk. That's for damn sure.
Like, I don't know. It's like I don't really start eating until at least 10:30, 11 every day. You know what I mean?
Seems reasonable.
But outside of those little bit of Starburst that I just had, like I won't eat anything or drink anything until I wake up tomorrow. I'll drink some water.
Right.
Maybe some Kool-Aid.
Man, I don't know about you, but I'm feeling pretty safe. I think this is so far, it's been pretty solid. Like I'm at that stage where I feel like I got that. Man, look, my eyes won't open. Look at it. Sup, SA? Anyway.
So, you feeling safe yet? Remember, guys, we love you. Go out there, find Atlantis, expand your mind, and help a random stranger. You know, if you see him eating out of the garbage can, buy him something to eat. Don't give him money, because I did that earlier, and then I came back out of the Spanish food place, and he was still picking through the garbage can. So I put Stevie in the car, put the food in the car, and walked back over and made him give him my money back. I looked at you and I said, "This money is for food. You don't need to be eating fucking garbage." And I walked away,
Mm,
which meant I gave you the money for food. Stop eating the fucking garbage. It's disgusting.
facts.
I want my money back. I feel ripped off. Fuck the karma.
I feel undersold here.
Exactly. I thought we had an understanding. But
Yeah,
thank you, Patrick. This was fun.
this was fun. Thanks to everybody who tuned in tonight. We appreciate you guys. Thanks for getting us to 101. We love y'all. That's really awesome. And I look forward to many more safety meetings in the future. And hopefully one of these days y'all can come out and join us rather than just hop on in the comments. We're always open up for a discussion. There's not really anything that we won't talk about. So just keep that in mind.
The comments were fun. It made it change up. This was the first time we had other people to throw in their things to say other than me and Pat. So there was not one moment where we sat there, looked at each other, and went, so what do we say now?
Right.
So I think this changed the ball game.
It's good energy. I appreciate y'all. And if you haven't smoked weed yet today, you should figure it out. Just separate your mind from all the bullshit around you and just enjoy yourself.
Even if you ain't got to smoke weed to make yourself feel like the universe is hugging you, whatever makes you feel like the universe has got you and everything's going to be all right, just do that.
Mm-hmm.
Fuck what this man's saying.
Do what makes you happy.
Drug use.
It's not a drug, Joe. It's weed. It's medicine.
Fucking guy, man.
You know it's medicine.
No, it is.
But hey, real quick, just I forgot one more shout out. Fuck Tom Brady.
Fuck Tom Brady, you fucking bastard.
You fucking cocksucker.
How are you gonna retire and then unretire and then make your coach retire? Come on now.
Boo.
Fuck out of here.
Boo.
Fucking bastard. That's why.
Too much control.
Do you guys remember Brett Favre when his second year playing for the Vikings, when he spent most of it on the IR because he was old and he got hit by a Bills player and they gave him a concussion?
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that's gonna happen.
Oh shit.
It's gonna happen this year. Someone's gonna hit Tom Brady and he's gonna get a concussion and we're never gonna see him again.
Then we're gonna need to see the next Shane Falco.
That's right. And meanwhile, you got Eli Manning out here eating weed brownies for Ricky Williams. It's a fucking weird world, man. Gotta love 2022. I love y'all.
Be good to each other.
Peace.
Peace.